So first things first, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, very well. And the week where the first week of the release is over, so it feels very, I feel quite tired, but at the same time, still so excited. And it's great to be here in Eurosonic. And yeah, it's been a crazy week.
Was it almost, you say you're still quite tired, but was it almost also like a burden dropping off your shoulders in a way, that now that it's out and then...
No, it feels really exciting, like it's out there, and I guess you're the only concern you have is people going to hear it. I think these days there's just so much music out there. It's like you've got to try and somehow get your voice just heard out there, and that was always the challenge for me. Really, was that. No, I think it feels quite like it's out there now and it's doing its thing, and hopefully we'll just keep growing and people will hear it more, and we'll play around, different places around the world now, and just really, I think it's given me a different platform than my first record. So
Right.
It feels really exciting, I think.
That's interesting, because if you think back at that debut record, what pops up? What are the memories of that record? How do you look at it now, after you've kind of gone through what you've been through the last year?
I feel like it was actually a really important moment for me, of course, and it's your first record, but I also feel like it was good the way it didn't actually do what we expected, because it gave me stimulus and it gave me a goal to achieve with this record that I think really helped me, achieve that goal. I was not disappointed. I guess I just wanted things to go faster on that first record, and it didn't quite do that, and it was quite hard, but I felt like I needed to go back to the drawing board and really work on the songwriting, really work on the music, and go back to that, really, like, well, what's the music that I love? And I think I was able to really not try and impress anyone with this. Whereas the first record, I felt like there was this pressure of like, you got to impress, it's your first record. And actually, sometimes for artists, it just doesn't happen like that on their first record. It takes 2 records, it takes 3 records, Right. And I feel really proud that for this record, I achieved it myself what I wanted to. And that was, I just wanted everything to feel like it was a step up. Songwriting, the production, my voice, everything was just, it's progressing, and the worst thing that could have happened was that this record didn't do any of that, and it felt like this was a stagnant project that, and I didn't want people around me to feel like it was a stagnant project either. So it was, I feel like in hindsight, when I look back, what happened with that first record was really important, and it kind of, it helped encourage me to make this record.
Right. Can you give me one example of something in this process of this new record, and that in which you challenged yourself, in which you kind of that growth, felt that growth?
Well, I think it was believing in myself as a singer. That was the challenge. Because I think on the first record, it felt like I didn't really know myself as a singer, really. I felt like I was more of like a producer covering up my vocals, because I was a bit scared about really kind of making the vocals. I mean, also that first record, it was such a sort of explosion of sounds, and it was like, it was almost like a Jackson Pollock painting. It was just like, no disrespect to Jackson Pollock, but it was just like, it was slightly scatterbrainish, and I felt like this new record needed that one thing to make it accessible, and I think that is the vocals and it's the lyrics. And I don't think previously I'd really challenged myself as a singer, and I really went there with this record, and it was people around me who encouraged me, and it was really believing in my voice, really, and believing that I have a voice, and that, you know, perhaps this is the most important aspect of it in a way.
Because that makes it, I suppose, a lot more personal, because it is you. But is that almost kind of when you're a producer, when you're drumming, when you're doing so much, that you kind of relegate yourself to that position and don't kind of view yourself as anything other than that? Did you have to kind of get to the point where you could see yourself as a singer?
Yeah, I think definitely. I think that's why the whole first album was such an important process. I think it was this journey that I was going on with, just believing that I am a singer. And, you know, now I take good care of my vocal cords. I've got a different emphasis on what's important to me as a performer. And it is like making sure I'm warming up, making sure my vocals are in. And that's all come from this, I think, this idea of that I am a singer, really.
What was the song on the record that you kind of, I don't want to say look forward to, but one that had a place in your mind when you think, oh, I have to sing that in a bit, or I have to sing that on the record? Was there one that stood out for you, kind of?
Well, for me, it was a turning point when I wrote Till I Own It. And that song, at the time, I was really listening to the Blue Nile, and Paul Buchanan's voice just has this absolute expression in every single note. And I think during that period of I think it was about a year into writing the record, a year and a half, I went to Wayne Coyne's house in Oklahoma, and he's become a very good friend of mine, and we did some shows with the Flaming Lips and stuff, and Wayne was really the first person I got into the studio with, who just encouraged me to really open up my vocal cords. You know, he just went, sing, motherfucker, sing, you know, and it was like, you know, I never had really somebody say that to me in the studio. I've always been very, you know, isolated in a way. And it was after spending that week there with him, feeling just like he would talk to me, he'd say to me, you know, what is it you're trying to say? Who are the singers you like? And we shared the love of like Bjork and Kate Bush and all these great singers. And he really inspired me just to suddenly come back. I came back from that trip, and I suddenly realized, I suddenly was like, I've got to really sing on this record. I'm stripping back all the music, and the vocals are just going to be front and center, and I'm going to do that, and fuck it. If it goes badly, it goes badly. And then Till I Own It, I felt like everything I'd learned with Wayne just came pouring out in that song. And I feel like the vocals are really the sort of main you know, they're the main sort of characteristic of that song. And I really did feel very, for a moment, that I was like this great singer. But I don't know what that is anyway. I don't know what a great singer is, but I guess I felt really comfortable singing that song.
How important are the lyrics in kind of what you just now said, kind of having that conviction of what you're singing, and how important are the lyrics side to all of that?
Well, I think they're incredibly important. I think lyrics are, for me, the trickiest thing. Okay. And I feel like that's something I need to like improve on for the next record or the next songs. I mean, lyrics are so important. I've learned that throughout this process. And sometimes great lyrics can just come from no effort at all. And then other times you find yourself going through the motions and is this right? This isn't right. What's this about? I don't know. You know, and there's constant sort of questioning in your head, which you can kind of get on this train and you're just going round and round and round, and it's very hard. I think lyric writing is so hard, actually. And for this record, what I did was I went to the greats, you know, the people who the lyrics I love, and that was Kate Bush.
Right.
I love Kate's lyrics. They take you to another world, and you feel like you can escape through her lyrics. And there's a common theme throughout this record, which is escapism. And so I looked to, Kate Bush, I looked to Joni Mitchell, and, Blue, you could say is all about escapism and Joni being in all these different places and traveling the world and hiding from something, experiencing something. And I sort of looked at all those classic lyrics, really. And so that really helped me throughout the process, was listening to other music. Depeche Mode, I found all their lyrics so inspiring, quite weird, quite mad pop songs where, Shake the Disease as a kind of, as a pop song. You would, now you wouldn't really have, titles like that and what it's, about essentially. But yeah, it's incredibly important.
Was there one song in particular then that the lyrics were very close to you, or very, they had to be right in a way?
I think all of them were, all of them were really important, and because of that emphasis on the vocals on this record, the lyrics really had to be right. I mean, I think about Work the Dancefloor, really, people always immediately look to the lyrics of that because, grammatically it doesn't make sense. So I've had to answer endless questions about, what about Work the Dance? And I try and explain to them that actually sometimes lyrics don't have to, grammatically make sense, but if there's a feeling behind it, then that's really what I was after,
And then from the production side then, I think you mentioned it shortly before, but kind of, did you try to tone down the music a little bit just to push up your vocals, or to put them in a more prominent place in a way?
Yeah, there was definitely, for me, too much going on in the first record. It's when I listen back to it, I'm really proud of it, but
sure.
There was too much going on. The goal for this record was really to just kind of, be disciplined with how many layers there were within the songs, and really I wanted there to be a space in the songs that comes from just stripping back stuff and making sure that actually the song structures are the most important thing, and the voice. And certainly I had to put a different mindset on. I had to put like a real producer's head on, which was, it was really kind of being disciplined and is this good? No, scrap it, let's do that again. It was quite a sort of hard routine, and that's why, and I'd spend hours and weeks and, just in the studio perfecting that. And then I took that sort of idea to Mark Ralph, the finished demo, and then me and Mark would really sit down and strip back it. And Mark Ralph's, involvement in it all was such a help. I mean, he really elevated it to the level that you hear. But both Mark and I worked tirelessly, and very hard, listening to very in-depthly,
Because I can imagine, especially when you're, you almost have to take an objective look at yourself when you're doing this, which I suppose is really, really difficult. So having that outside voice, did that kind of make decision-making easier and kind of,
no, it really did. I mean, the first record I did it just all alone, and it was a totally different process. Whereas this one, it was great to have. So the early stages, I actually had an engineer kind of, helping me as well with music. It's Sean Oakley, who helped me develop the the demos to a certain level, and then I went to Mark, and it was great. I mean, I think Domino, Lawrence, my A&R, and my manager Jeanette, they wanted me not. I think I needed some other ears with me, and it was great. It was fantastic to have that process, and I learned so much. And Mark and I are, back in the studio working on new stuff. So it's it feels like a real partnership, actually.
So I'm not going to ask you about the next record because this has just been released. But what do you? Because I hear every once in a while from artists that once they release an album, it's kind of like they're done with it almost, and that they kind of because probably the record has been finished for quite a while and that kind of stuff. So where's your mind at now? Are you still full in this kind of mindset of playing these songs? Or are you already thinking about new ideas? And
I think I'm starting to think about new ideas. I'm also I think now it's about promoting this record. So it's quite hard to, be in those two mindsets. But I think definitely just all the way along now, I'm writing and definitely thinking about the next. Totally, 100%.
Finally, then, because I think you had some good news today as well from the label.
Oh yeah.
So what is your? I never like where do you see yourself in 5 years, but what is your? What is it that you want to do with your music in a way?
Well, I think I just want to tour the world and do what everyone wants to do, which is just play loads of shows and continue on in this career and write new music and just build and keep feeling ambitious with it all, and hopefully one day, playing big concert halls, and I think that's always the goal.
So the sky's the limit in a way.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. Yeah, I'm not. I feel like people are still connecting with me and they're still discovering me, and so I feel like to not be ambitious with it now would be a mistake,
Fair enough. Georgia, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.